Sis and tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up. Alison's on TV. And when they hop on the phone, it's the place you want to be. Sis and tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Hey, Allie.
Hi, man. What's going on?
Just driving my minivan around like it's a pickup truck.
What does that mean?
That means I turned the back into a hot tub. No, I'm joking. No, I've been doing like all these DIY projects, right? I've been, it's not an outside, it's like landscaping stuff that's like dirties up your minivan. And it's not because like I enjoy gardening or whatever, like mommy does. Like she literally used to have to like set a timer for me to go outside and help her pull weeds. But I do it because it's cheaper and I'm frugal. But someone the other day they were redoing their lawn and they had to pull up all the grass, and whoever is putting in the new grass just cut it into like sod squares and rolled it up. So I drove
So you
my
took it?
Yeah, I drove my minivan there. I put a moving blanket down first, right? And then I'm like wearing a dress and I have gardening gloves. I was smart because other people showed up in clothes that you would do landscaping in but didn't have gloves. I showed up in a dress with gloves. So it kind of evened
balanced out, yeah.
Right, but so I took like, and there's so much, but I took like 9 rolls of it, and it is like stacked up in my minivan. I'm driving back, and then I forget I'm supposed to turn somewhere, so I quickly turned, and all of the sod goes forward, and so the sod is like covered in Georgia red clay.
Oh, there we go.
I can't help it. I know. I bring it up every time. But so it was like all over the minivan. So I knew if I did not go get my car detailed, that it would just stay that way for God knows how long. And I kept on thinking about you and how clean your minivans are. So,
Well, that's because I'm married to Alison Lebovitz, who is obsessed with a clean minivan.
But again, I am frugal. So I found this place called, what was it? Quickie Car Wash or something. And the vacuum, it had, like, you can vacuum it out for free, and then you put the floor mats in this thing that washes it. It eats it and then spits it out.
Yeah.
And in order to exit, you have to pay for a car wash. But the vacuum, man, it's like I have a stronger suck when I'm drinking water out of a straw. It was like, anyways, my car's much cleaner.
So how much did you have to pay? How much do you have to pay to clean your car to save money on the free sod? That's the question.
It was like $8.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
I need to go to a car wash because yesterday the craziest thing happened. They're doing construction over this bridge, and it's the only way for me to literally get to my house from a certain direction. And I was going to a meeting. We had this, I had like a 4-hour board retreat for this nonprofit board I'm on. I was in charge. I was told them I'd get the food. So I like had everything down to like a time. I was going to be there at 4:30 so I could be at the meeting by 5 and all this stuff. So I'm driving over this bridge where they're doing this construction, and all of a sudden I see splatter painted all across my windshield, white dots.
Oh, from what?
That's my first question. What is that from? So I don't know if they are doing paint on the street. I don't know what they're doing, but all I know is white dots on a black car is not what you want to see. And especially me, I was freaking out. So I start screaming.
I don't know. That sounds kind of cute. I would love a little paint job.
It did look like
an
an 80s splatter painted sweatshirt, I will tell you. It looked like a Brindisi sweatshirt. So I'm driving and I'm freaking out because I can also see it is splatter painted on the whole part of my hood, and it must be on the whole side of my car. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've got to go get the food. I've got to be at this meeting. And I've got to go home to wash my car. Like, I cannot.
You thought it was going to dry and you wouldn't be able to get it off?
Well, it was either two things. One, could it be paint? I didn't think it was paint. I rolled down my window a little and sort of I could scrape it off. But then I thought it must have been cement, right? So, cement and concrete are two different things. Cement, you have to actually wet for it to turn into something that is permanent. So the good news is that whatever it was a dry paste, not a paste, it was a dry powder. But then I thought, well, what if I get it wet and it stays on my car all this is going through my head. So I run to the restaurant.
Oh my Lord, anxiety.
Well, I ran to the restaurant first because I thought, well, if it's just going to come off with my finger, I'm not going to worry about it. And it did, except it literally looked like my car had freckles or measles or chicken pox. I mean, it was literally everywhere. So I said, okay, I've got 5 minutes. So I call Abe, our 19-year-old. I said, are you at home? He's like, yes. I go, please put the hose on, get ready. I'm going to come through your car wash. Like, you just come in. So in like 5 minutes, the two of us, and again, I'm in like dress clothes and heels, and I'm like washing, and then I'm spraying him. He's yelling at me. We're trying to get this all off. I got it off, sort of. And then he calls me 2 minutes later. He said, I just looked at my car and I've got it all over my car. He went through the same traffic or construction zone. And so I said, okay. So he goes, well, I need to wash my car too. And so we were freaking out. And this morning, the spots were still there. So that got me.
On both cars?
Well, his car, because he hadn't tried to wash it yet. So then I get out there with, so like I had to do a quickie before I, went to work out. So I just got some dishwashing liquid and a one of those microfiber cloths to wash it. And then it rained while I was working out. So I think that did it. I think the rainwater and the dishwashing liquid, the Dawn soap, that cuts grease, I think that did it. But I almost took a picture of it because I thought, if I have to sue somebody because they ruined my car, it's not good. But then I thought, how many other cars, because we drove by there hours apart, which means they've been splattering stuff all day. It's just not right.
Well, speaking of construction zones and messing up your car, I'm not kidding you, in a month, I've had 4 screws or nails in my front right tire.
Just that tire?
Just that tire. And I told Aaron, someone's out to get me. I think someone's leaving a nail behind that tire.
Or just shoving it in there. That would be a lot easier.
It's like, what is that? I don't know. It's some like horror movie where someone's trying to get rid of me. But I've had it so much so that our car mechanic stopped charging me. He just feels bad.
And they've repaired the same tire all 4 times?
4 times. Yeah.
I'd be careful about driving on that tire. It's a lot of repairs to one tire.
That's true. I didn't even think about it. But Mark is my buddy. He feels like Uncle Mark. He's like... He goes to our synagogue. It's called Summit Auto. I send everyone there, and it's in Decatur. But he's so amazing, and I feel like he's like literally it feels like he's like our relative, and I'm taking it to Uncle Mark, and he's like, he'll be like, don't drive this cross country. Please do this before you go. And I'm like, okay. That's
what you need. You need somebody you trust. All right, I'm totally switching gears because I have to tell you something that I found out this week, and I've got some good news and some bad news category. You ready?
Yeah.
So here's the good news. Well, this was in the context of a discussion with some of my closest friends in Chattanooga, who we saw each other recently, and we started talking about our favorite concerts and how old we were at our first concert, and what how many we've seen, and then that kind of escalated into a conversation specifically about the concerts here in Chattanooga. And there's a place called the Roundhouse, McKenzie Arena, part of UTC, and it's a great place to see a concert. So especially,
is it outdoors?
It's indoor. It's indoor.
Okay.
It's where the UTC basketball players play basketball, obviously, where they have basketball games, etc. Anyway, they have wrestling there. They have all sorts of events there. And so especially the people who grew up in Chattanooga, we're talking about, they remember the concerts back in, the early 70s, etc. So my friend Kelly turns to me and said, yeah, like when we saw Cher there. And I looked at her with I can only describe as the face I'm looking at you now with, which is totally blank face. And I said, what? She goes, we saw Cher. And then she looks at Monique. She goes, remember? And Monique looks back with the same blank face and says, I have no recollection. And I said, what? So the good news is, I would love to see Cher in concert. And apparently I did see Cher in concert.
But if you both don't remember seeing Cher, maybe she's mixing you up with two other friends.
Aha! So that's what I thought. Maybe she's confused because I said, when was the concert? She said 2004. So Levi was born in 2004. She starts looking up. She says, okay, specifically September 2004. And I thought, all right, so I've got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 6-month-old. I'm sure that had effect on my brain and cognitive skills at the time. But I thought, well, maybe it wasn't me. And so the next day she goes, guess what? I remembered the 4th person who was with us. It was our friend Fern. So then I text Fern and I said, do you remember going to a Cher concert in 2004? And she wrote back immediately, yep, you, me, Monique, and Kelly. It was at the Roundhouse. And I'm like, what?
How do you not remember seeing Cher?
Right? I mean, it's not...
I mean, it's not like some
this is iconic.
local it's like Barbra Streisand, Cher. I mean, like.
And I've seen Barbra Streisand. I remember Barbra Streisand.
Right.
I remember U2. I remember the Go-Go's and Cyndi Lauper from when I was in high school. I remember Kenny Rogers twice at like a fundraiser. I mean, why are those things indelibly imprinted on my brain? And Cher is nowhere to be found. So there's bad news and there's worse news. The bad news is that I had and have no recollection. Like I forgot, there's 2 parts to this, that I forgot that I saw Cher in concert. The worst news is, now that I even know, I can't remember. You understand? Like sometimes I forget something and someone goes, oh, remember we did this? And I go,
and then you remember.
I totally forgot. Yes. And it comes back to me. I have been struggling. I almost feel like I need to go to hypnosis to bring back the memory. I looked, this was before iPhones came out. So I have no photographic evidence. There's no pictures.
That's what I was going to say.
No, nobody has any pictures. So I think even just one photo could jog my memory. I was looking up and I can't remember who played with her, but that didn't jog my memory. I feel like I need Cher herself, a la Moonstruck, to just come up to me and yell, "Snap out of it!" And then I would be okay. Right? I mean, that's what I need. I need somebody to wake me from this. And this is not like, oh, I forgot what I ate for lunch yesterday, or I can't remember the details of something. Seriously, this hasn't happened to me yet. I seriously have zero recollection. I'm trying my hardest to just fabricate it in my head. And it's Cher. It's Cher.
Well, I have good news for you.
What?
And it might be bad news, but I think what happened, it's the Berenstain Bears effect, right? Or as they call it, the Nelson Mandela effect. Do you know about this?
No.
You don't remember it because it happened to a different Alison from another parallel universe, and you somehow got switched into this one. But people grew up thinking the Berenstain Bears were the Berenstein Bears, which we've talked about.
We already talked about it. I was one of those people.
It's called the Nelson Mandela effect because there's people who have a memory of him passing away in prison when that's not what happened.
They do?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. If you look it up, there's this whole group of people who are pretty convinced that happened.
Well, it didn't, because he actually passed away in pretty recent years, like in the past few years.
Right, I know, but
okay.
I'm just
just to clarify.
I know, but I'm saying that alternative Alison did go to Cher. The current Alison, it may have happened in 2020 because everything crazy happened in 2020. That's when so you're just you've just switched universes. That's it. That's all. See, don't you feel better?
No, I don't feel better because I have no memory. And when Mommy hears this, she's going to be very upset because she loves Cher too.
I wonder if she remembers Cher. That's say that 5 times fast. She remembers Cher.
If she remembers Cher.
I bet she does. I bet if you called her, she would remember you going. Who watched the kids?
Alan. Of course he did. Like, that's a surprise. He is their father.
Right.
People used to say, is Alan babysitting? I go, actually, we like to call it parenting.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
No, but I'm sure. But it's not like I don't have other memories, like vivid memories from that time frame. I even went, like, I have an album from September 2004 and everything in that album. And maybe it's because I have photos of it. So then I start wondering, do I remember those things, or do I only remember these events because I have photos of it? Like
What's the name? Yeah. I think yes. Yes, that seeing photographic evidence of something helps you remember things, but The fact that people are telling you that it happened and you can't even remember any slight details.
No. And Monique is claiming she sort of remembers now. I don't know if she really does.
But she was able to name everyone who went with
No,
y'all.
Fern did. Fern did and Kelly
Fern did.
Yeah.
Fern
and Kelly have very vivid memories.
Do you remember going, what's the name of the outdoor amphitheater in Birmingham?
Oak Mountain Amphitheater.
Oak Mountain. Do you remember going to see the Indigo Girls there?
I saw Indigo Girls. I saw Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah. I
saw
the Allman Brothers.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I saw Indigo Girls. I was there with my friends. I think I was in 9th grade and you were in college.
Yeah.
And it was so weird running into you. So I bring this up because
okay, now I don't remember running into you.
No, you were like, "Hey, Amanda."
This is one of the reasons we're doing this podcast. Is
right.
One of the many times I ignored you. I shunned you and just did not abide by my big sister duties. So
I think it was in 8th or 9th grade in one of the first concerts I went to. But I bring this up because the Indigo Girls live in Atlanta. One of them lives in Decatur and was at a party I was at.
What?
It was an end of the school year party. And Emily, she was there. I didn't talk to her. Everyone was like flipping out. I kept on forgetting to find her. And it was a small party, but she has kids who are like, or a kid in elementary school, I think. And she does, like our elementary schools do something when it's not a pandemic called Community Circle, where parents who play musical instruments will come on Fridays, sometimes in the morning, and they form like a community circle band. All the elementary schools have a community circle band, and she's in the one for her kid.
Okay, that is so cool.
Isn't that cool? What's even cooler is Ruby's close friends, their mom manages the Indigo Girls.
What?
Yeah.
So they're playing this summer. There's a big outdoor festival that started in Memphis called Moon River. It moved to Chattanooga about 3 or 4 years ago. Drew Holcomb, who I actually got to interview for my PBS show, but he's an amazing singer, songwriter, performer. He started this festival and then it got too big for their britches over in Memphis, so Chattanooga was afforded the luxury of hosting it. And the Indigo Girls are one of the bands, and I'm so excited. It's a 2-day festival in September, and that brought back a lot of memories. I love Indigo Girls. I actually sang "Closer to Fine" at Chumley's, which is the little ice cream coffee shop at Brandeis when I was a sophomore. Don't ask me how my friend Vanessa and our other friend Ivan, who played guitar, convinced me that I could do it. But
it was like an open mic and you sang?
It was an open mic and they needed an alto for whichever one of the girls is the lower part. And so that was my debut. It was also my finale. That was the first and last time I ever sang at an open mic. But it was fun. But every time I hear that song, great memories.
I miss doing karaoke. And I'm not saying you were doing karaoke.
I was not doing karaoke.
I'd say it was the equivalent to karaoke, though.
Probably, yeah.
You just had a live band to back you up.
And no TV monitor. So I had to memorize the lyrics.
Yeah.
That's a gift. If you've ever watched those shows like American Idol and they forget the song lyrics, that's a real thing.
That's when you make up the lyrics.
True.
So excited for you and your concert. Nice summer plans to have in the horizon. Aaron and I are in the middle of planning a trip to California when the kids go to sleepaway camp. So one of his best friends lives in Napa and they have a guest house we're going to stay in. But we're also going to go to San Francisco for a few days. By the way,
everyone should have a friend in Napa with a guest house.
Right?
That should be on everybody's to-do list. Yeah.
We're very, very lucky. We're using miles to get there. So it's going to be a very affordable trip. But so we've been like planning it out, and I start planning a trip with, because I'm a normal person, a spreadsheet.
A spreadsheet, like an Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah, I do a Google Drive spreadsheet, right? It's a shared document, and it lists out like each day and then time slots within that day. Like if we have to pick.
I have that. Yeah.
Right. It has like it's our itinerary, basically, like our flight information, the Airbnb information. If we have a reservation somewhere, that information and notes, just so I don't have to like rummage through my emails for this. Yes. Right. So I invite Aaron to look at it, and he gets super excited. and then tells me he added stuff to it. And I go and I open the document, and he has copied and pasted stuff all over it that totally messed up all of the formatting I did, and it's taking up like 5 lines for one thing because he and I'm like, why are we going to a baseball game the last day? We're not even going to be in San Francisco. He goes, oh, I just put ideas in there. And I'm like, okay, I might be a little anal with my spreadsheet, but I'm like, you messed up the spreadsheet. It's for itinerary. It's for like confirmed things. You need to open up a whole other document for ideas. You go open up your idea document. But one of the things he put in there was us going to a Russian bathhouse.
Oh, I've been to one in Russia.
Okay. All right. Well, that's nice for you.
You will not like a Russian bathhouse.
And Alison, why will I not like the Russian bathhouse?
First of all, you don't even like being naked around anybody. And that is a presupposed understanding that you are going to be not just naked, but I'm going to say butt naked. I mean, it is, my friends. Okay, so we were also talking in the course of our concert discussion about these Korean bathhouses in Atlanta that sound very similar to the Russian bathhouses.
Jeju's the one in Atlanta.
Okay, so that's it. So I'm assuming you have not been there, but you understand the concept.
I did one time by mistake, but you go for your story and then we will talk about my experience.
Yeah. So the Russian bathhouse, I can only speak to my own personal experience in Russia. I would say it was probably in St. Petersburg, and we all went because, why not? Went in Russia, and it was literally like women in sort of very modest attire who were the massage people. I don't even think
modest or immodest.
Well, I mean, yeah, like when I say modest, I mean little attire, but like almost like a not a rag, but it was not fancy. So this is not like a spa.
Oh, okay.
This is right. Very, very basic. And then you walk in and you are less than basic because you've got no clothes on. And we were like lying on slabs, like concrete slabs. And I just remember.
They're heated. Aren't they heated slabs?
Maybe, but like giant buckets of water or like pressure washer almost above you. And they're slapping you with towels. And
God. Like
it sounds like a meat processing plant the more I describe it. But it was fun. I mean, you get out and you are you're slimy and you feel like you've been scrubbed and rubbed and I mean, if you like that, then it's awesome. But I would imagine for someone like you, who I rarely saw in the house growing up without a towel around her at all times.
Why would I be walking
in the shower
around the house? Okay,
because you can at your house.
No, not with anyone there. Wait, so first of all, okay, I seem like a naked person. I just want to say that. My personality, I seem like I'd be a naked person.
Yeah, but you're not. Yeah, with the lip kissing and the no pants, people would assume, no, you are not a naked person.
I would walk around in a bathing suit in Times Square, okay? I just want to say that. Very comfortable wearing a bathing suit that I feel good in, but I'm not a naked person. When my friend turned 30, we all went out for brunch. Afterwards, we were going to Jeju. I rode with my friend, so I had no way of escaping. In the middle of brunch, they said that it was a naked spa. I flipped out, and they said, don't worry, Amanda. They give you a towel.
Oh, right. We discussed this already.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like 6 months pregnant, so I took off my glasses and just pretended like I couldn't see anything. And the towel was smaller than a washcloth. It was the size of my areola. So anyway. So I know from this experience.
The towel was to cover your eyes so that you couldn't see anything really.
It was like see no evil, being my own self. But the women who are working there are wearing like black bras and panties, and they jump on top of you to scrub where the sun don't shine. Literally, they scrubbed my butt crack. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. They had this, and everyone gets their own. They don't reuse the scrubbers.
Thank goodness. Oh gosh.
You get to go home with it, but I've never been so slothed in my life. Is that it? They just like scrubbed me. I had like if there's 7 layers of skin, I had 1 layer left, but it was soft. It was baby.
Yeah,
it was
soft
baby
once
soft.
They get off all those layers of dead skin.
Right. So anyway, Aaron puts down Russian bathhouse, and I said, "Are you kidding? Do you know I'm not a naked person?" And he goes, "Have you even gone to the website? You don't know if they're naked there." And so I said, okay. And he got very upset because he was super excited. He goes, we can go. We could do this. We just have to do that.
Let me just say, you gave him access to your Google Doc.
I did. It was my fault.
So you opened up this can of worms. I mean, I'm not blaming you, but I'm attributing a little bit of responsibility on your shoulders.
I know. Okay. But so then I started feeling bad, right? I was like, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? So I went to the Russian Bath website, and then I said to him, have you gone to that website? Because I swear to God, it was like looking at a sneak peek page on Pornhub. It couldn't have been more clear that this is a naked place, and it feels very co-ed naked.
Oh, no. See, the Russian bathhouse I went to was very distinctly to the two different genders. Yes.
Right. And look, this may be separated by gender, but it looked like there's also areas where it didn't matter. Okay? Like, because look, the website has so many pictures of like men and women, and it like kind of using a towel. And I say kind of because it wasn't like wrapped around tightly. There weren't bathrobes. It was like someone like kind of had a towel that they were holding on to.
Right. For dear life.
And so he's like, fine, I'll take it off. I'm like, good, because I will not be taking it off.
No. You need to start a faux document that he can add to, subtract to, dream big dreams on, and then have the real document that is going to be your authentic itinerary.
That's a good idea.
I don't share. Everybody in my family knows I am the planner. I am like the planner extraordinaire because I am neurotic, and I'm just I do what you do. I like to have, like, when we traveled to France a few years ago, I did a whole thing like you did. It had the flight numbers, it had our Airbnb reservations, it had our dinner reservations, it had options every day, like we can go here and here to these museums. This is how far it is from our apartment. I mean, I'm neurotic. And the boys, the best part about it is the boys are just, they go with the flow. They kind of start at the beginning of any trip going, Mom, don't overschedule us, and don't plan every minute. And I said, do you know who you're dealing with? I understand this. I don't like to be exhausted by the end of the day, and I like options. I don't like it to be having to be set in stone, except for a few things that you might have to book in advance and pay for. And then, of course, if I happen to have a, quote, free night, it's like it's a group trip, and I'm like, okay, everybody, dinner is whatever we want it. They're like, what do you mean? You didn't make a reservation? We don't have anywhere to go. So I just like it. I like to have a schedule that is set, and then if you want to change it, you can change it, but at least to have a plan of attack.
Right. Yeah. No, and I'm up for, look, we also have to play it by ear because California just opened up.
Oh, I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what we are, like, I talked to someone I know who lives there, and I'm like, what, is there anything special or unique going on? And they're like, oh, I don't know.
Right.
I'm like, well, that's not good. So, but luckily there's like a lot of outdoor stuff that we were planning on doing anyways. We're going to see the redwoods. We're going to, there's beaches nearby. Winery tours are obviously mostly out in the open, and they're open. So,
all right. All I have to say is there is an amazing ice cream store in San Francisco. It may be in other parts of the country, but we found it in San Fran, called Salt and Straw.
Okay.
So add that to your Google Doc.
I will.
Is seriously, I think it's some of the best ice cream I've ever had. In fact, I have a friend, Josh, who is an ice cream aficionado and separately a biscuit aficionado. And I said to him, I love talking to him about all the places. He marks it. He has like a whole journal. And I said, oh, well, Alan and I were in San Francisco. And before I can finish the sentence, he goes, Salt and Straw? I go, yes. And he's like, oh, yeah. I mean, that's, everybody knows. So it's delicious.
All right. I'll check it out.
Well, I hope y'all have a great time on your trip. And, Alan and I used to call that, when the kids were all at camp, our summer honeymoon. Now it's no longer quite the summer honeymoon because our kids are old enough that they no longer go to camp, and now they decide to come back to Chattanooga for the summer.
That was short-lived.
They're low maintenance, but and they're actually fun to be around. But everybody's like, how's your summer honeymoon going? I go, well, since COVID hit, it's been about 3 days because everybody was home last summer. And now this summer we've got at least one boy home, but he's working and taking classes. So he has his own schedule. Yeah. Abe's got stuff to do.
The middle boy.
The middle boy, the middle child. Boy
Yeah,
child.
I told Oscar and Ruby that when they get back from sleepaway camp that I'm signing them up for day camp unless they come up with something to do.
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing worse than an idle summer, except when we were young. Idle summer was the best because we just managed to fill it. We should stay at the
We
pool
did.
all day. I was at the pool 12 hours a day.
I don't even remember.
See?
How were you?
All
See,
right,
this is my
see?
share.
I went to Cher and you went to the pool and we have no recollection. It's a
Right.
problem.
Well, do you have photographic evidence of Alison with Cher? Maybe
Please.
maybe even Photoshop something. Well, thanks for listening to the latest episode of Sis and Tell podcast. Don't forget to share us with your friends and family, because sometimes you're not friends with your family.
I see what you did there. That was clever. As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.
Sis and Tell.